Hello everyone and welcome to Best of the Month. This month we've got a group of creators here to talk about their favourite games that they've been playing. Let's start off with mine. It's an old game that we managed to get back to the table when a group of us met up, and it was just instant fun, and that is Cash and Guns. It's not going to be for everyone because you have these foam guns that you are pointing at each other, and if you have the expansion you get these little smaller guns and different sized guns, so everyone can, well, some of the players can have unique ones. You're pointing at each other, bluffing whether you are shooting or not. Are you going to use that bang or click? Because you're playing your cards secretly before everyone starts aiming, and then if you get shot or you duck out because you don't, or you think you're going to get shot, you're not going to get that split of the loot in the middle. And loot in this game, all of that money, the artworks, the diamonds, they mean prizes, and that in this case points, and that's how you win the game. It's just a lot of fun, and it's really a great game for people that think of a board game and then go, that's not what I thought a board game was. Because it's very interactive. There is some cards in the middle of the table, but it's really all about the players around them. It's about as distant as you can get from, a Monopoly board or something like that. Although, you can certainly get some grudges and stuff going in a good way. In a couple of rounds you aim at one person, they're probably going to be aiming at you in the next. So you want to sort of choose who you're aiming at and when you're going to be aiming at them, and actually who you're shooting. Because if you're actually firing rather than just bluffing, well, someone's going to come, if they're not out, they're maybe going to be coming back at you with a vengeance. But maybe you think that and they're going to bluff you on that. So Cash and Guns is just full of that really good interaction, bluffing, and just the fun of sort of bluffing with your friends. A great start or sort of end to a game night, because it gets everyone excited and gives everyone that sort of the memories of it. And if you play it at the start, there's still going to be grudges about you shot me in the game earlier on. And that is Cash and Guns. Anyway, like I say, it's an older game. It's not a brand new one. We don't always have to talk about brand new games on here. But let's see what some of the other creators picked this month.
Hey buddies, welcome to Amass Games. My name is Simon. Today I'm bringing my best of the month for the month of October 2022. Now, it's been Spiel month, it's been Essen month, it's been the biggest board game convention in the world month with 147,000 unique attendees, which is pretty much the same as at Glastonbury, which I went to a few months ago as well. Now, the game for me that's been best of the month is a game I have played before this particular month, where I picked up the game over in Germany. It's a game I played, first came out in 2014. Stefan Doris, a designer, made some other games I've enjoyed too. This game I have played with two combined sets. It's a 2 to 6 player game, so you can play it with 12. And I have sleeved my copy because the cards are very nice. And it's this crazy artwork for the game Bucket King 3D. So it's a 3D version of the original Bucket King. Aim of the game is you are trying to eliminate the pyramid from somebody else. Do you know what? I'll do it on top of the box. So you're going to have 2 of these buckets each, 3 if you're playing with 2 players. And of course, if you're playing it with 2 sets of buckets or 2 sets of boxes, it's a bit different. Now, you can normally play it where the first person gets eliminated ends, so of course player elimination is generally frowned upon with most players, but in this game it's so much fun just to see what else is going on, a bit of table talk, and it is a quick game to play. So you are not just going to assemble your buckets this way, and I will do a whole how to set up, play and review separately. You are choosing to do it based on the cards that you have. You'll start off with 10 cards, and ultimately you're trying to pick from these what you think might be the best solution to ensure that you've got cards to stop yourself being knocked out. How to get knocked out? By having a smaller amount of cards that stops you from being able to go higher than somebody else. So right now you can see I've gone all over the place, these buckets. As you might be able to tell, I've got a differing amount of stuff going on here. It should normally be obviously a 4 across, not a 5 across, and that is because I've set this up as a 2-player game, obviously more effective looking buckets. It's got great table presence, it's extremely fun. The artwork's bonkers, quite frankly. There are 3 different kind of stories going on with these various animals in this game, and yeah, it's very intriguing. So as you can see, here's now a bucket set up, Everything there, obviously need to take out the green and keep an eye on this. It's a lot better than Jenga, whereby it's more about dexterity. Yes, use one finger to try and knock over these buckets. The difference with this game though is, like I said, you're trying to manage your cards. And like I said, there's a level of bluff going on. Sometimes you're sending some of these cards around the table. So from your 10 cards, you're going to play a card. I'm playing, say, a 4 green. The next person to my left needs to play a higher than a 4 green. You can play multiple cards, but at the end of your turn, you're drawing out one card and that's it. Now we play a variant as well, which involves the 1, which is a wild card. I'll ignore that for now. But basically, you play a 4, they've got to play higher than a 4. So they can play multiple cards. They go up to an 8, so you can play 24. It goes around to somebody else, of course they can't go. They're going to have to move this bucket, and this is how the fun begins. So one finger, push, poke, or nudge. And right now, a lot of buckets got knocked because green was right down the bottom there. So we didn't know it was going to be a green, but now they've got very few buckets left. And suddenly, you're not really interested in knocking them out, you want to knock somebody else out. So this disappears too. In this instance, you've got 2 pyramids, you can't have 2 pyramids, so you're going to lose a bucket. Maybe they've got loads of greens left, that's just why they place them down the bottom. And now you've got to try and fend off everybody else. That's the game, it's quick to play. It can take supposedly 20 minutes once you know how to play, but actually the teach as well with new players, and if you're playing it with 8 players or something, you are looking at about 50 minutes to maybe 1 hour 20, but it's so much fun, no one really cares about the time, and is, like I said, highly enjoyable. It's my most played game with the most amount of players since obviously Essen as well. No one has been disappointed by it. Everyone I played it with has been up for playing it a second time at least. And yeah, it's been very fun to play. So if you're interested in playing this, please let me know your thoughts. And always, there's going to be more videos coming. So look forward to speaking to you about my best of the month for next month. Maybe a game which I wasn't able to get because they managed to sell out or otherwise unavailable to me from the Spiel Fair, which maybe will be my game of the month for November. Aside from that, any other questions, let me know, of course, in the comments. And for now, back to the table.
What's up everybody, Daniel here from Life of a Board Gamer, and my game of the month definitely goes to the Guild of Merchant Explorers. It is a new game from AEG that has this really feel of like flip and write games, but in this game you will not write anything. You will use little cubes to mark different spaces that you will be exploring throughout the game, and the cards will tell you which type of space you are going to explore. Either you are going to explore some deserts or some forests or go into some mountains or over the seas. And basically throughout the game you are trying to explore as much as you can and collect as much silver coins, in essence coins that you can, and whoever has the most coins by the end of the game is the winner. And the game comes with 4 different maps that feel really differently when you're playing it. So each map that you play has some like special thing, except one that's just basic map, like introductory map, just so you can figure out how the game works. But then other maps include some different things to make the gameplay a little bit different, which I really like. It's super awesome how maps are really different. But in essence, the game almost plays the same because you are constantly playing over and over the 5 or 6 same cards. But throughout the game you will acquire some cards that are unique only to you, and these cards come with like super strong powers. You can explore way much more than others on some type of lands or something like that. So that's where every player has like a little bit of difference during the gameplay. And overall I really like it because each card feels so overpowered, so unique, and so like you are always wishing like, oh my god, if I had that one. But actually you also have a power that others really would like to have. So I really like the game. It's super simple to explain. It's really easy game to get into it. Like it's an entry game for me, but it has like depth and strategy if you are like old veteran board gamer and you are looking for some challenges, because this game can really set you up for some nice combos if you plan ahead a little bit. So yeah, there's some random stuff in it because you don't know in which order the cards will come out, but for me it's the beauty of the game, because you are trying to figure out if I do this and if I do that, and if cards come in kind of certain order I might score like gazillion points. So is it worth to me to risk stuff like that, you know? And I really like it. I adore this game. I think it's a great game, and you definitely should check it out. The Guild of Merchant Explorers. That's all from me for this month, and see you next month. Pozdrav.
Hi, it's Barb MeeplePhD, and my favorite play of October 2022 was Witchstone. It is Halloween season, and I love pulling out the creepy and eerie games off of my game shelf. This one is a game where you are playing a witch, building up a potion in front of you in order to take various actions and get points. I don't know how far the theme goes, but it is an enjoyable game. So each player has their own potion board that they are playing these tiles into that have 2 symbols on them. Those 2 symbols define what action you get to take that turn. And then the strength of the action is defined by how many of that symbol the newly placed tile is connected to. And so throughout the game, you start out with kind of quick turns because you don't have a lot of power for each of your actions. But as the game goes on and you build up some of those areas on your board, you get these bigger and bigger actions. You've got a crystal action where you get to move your crystals out of your potion off of the side of the board, and those can give you additional actions. You have a wand action, which moves you up on a track where you can get, again, additional actions or ways to get additional points. You can play out energy onto the board where you are creating paths on this map where you're going to try and place some of your witches, which is another action, placing witches on the board and following paths from your starting place to try and get your witch across the board as much as possible. There's also a way to take prophecies, which these are ways to get either game end scoring or additional power to some of your actions during the game. And there's a pentagram action, which just moves you around another track, but gives you tiles that you can put in your potion that count as 2 different symbols, and again, power up those actions as you're placing your tiles. I actually really like this one because it does have some player interaction, which a lot of my games are more multiplayer solitaire, but this one, there's a bit of that because you're building up your own potion, but you do have a couple of shared boards that you have to keep an eye on. Like there's the witch board if you're making little paths between different locations, and if someone else makes the path you wanted, that's fine, you can use their path, but it costs you an extra witch action to do that. Or there are these vials where you're putting your crystals and you want to make sure that the vials you want are available to give you the extra actions you're hoping for. So I really enjoy that part of this game. I've played it at 2, I've played it at 4. 4 is definitely a tighter game on that board. At 2, it's still a great game. We've really enjoyed all of our plays of this game. So I hope you had a great month. I'll be back again next month. In the meantime, you can look me up on Instagram and Twitter as Meeple PhD. I have a blog at meeplephd.com, and I have my own YouTube channel, also Meeple PhD, where I connect board games and astronomy and have other fun with board games.
Hi, I'm Libby, this is Julian. We are Boxed Meeples, and you can find us right here on YouTube, but also follow us on Instagram and on Twitter.
So our favourite games we've played in October. Now I've got a game that's not a new game, I think many of you have played it. In it you are trying to divide up a kingdom. You're competing for hexagons on a map. You're all aiming for the central part of the board while collecting resources. You've got to remain popular, but you can't resist battling against other people to try and take over their resources. I'm of course talking about the Stonemaier classic, My Little Scythe. Now, as you may well know, we love the game Scythe. We think it's a fantastic game and we play it an awful lot, both at 2-player and also as a game we played up to 7. We've played a full sprawling adventure with it. We've also played the campaign, and it's, I think, safe to say, one of our favourite games.
For sure.
And recently my children have been playing very light games. You know, the kind of monopolies we've been moving towards playing heavier games, but nothing really grabbed them like this one did. And, you know, a bit of backstory, it was designed by a father and his daughter. They wanted to make a My Little Pony game using kind of Scythe as an influence. And Jamie Stegmaier saw it and said, no, let's make that into a full-blown retail release. And I'm so pleased they did. It takes the kind of basic mechanisms of Scythe, dilutes them quite a bit, but you can still see the genesis of this game if you know Scythe really well. You're doing the same things. You're moving between different actions every turn, so you can't repeat the same action each turn. You're moving, or you're collecting resources, or indeed you're having a pie fight. And much like Scythe, which options you choose will give you different trophies, and the one who gets enough trophies will trigger the end game. So all of the kind of basics of Scythe are there, but we've played this with my children, one of which is 9 and one of which is 12, and they both really engaged with it. Often, you know, we play these games and we give them a helping hand. We may not do the optimal strategy just so they enjoy playing them, but that really wasn't the case for this. You could see there's little tactician minds working, and they're planning out moves ahead exactly in the way we wanted them to when we play Scythe. One daughter said, "A very fun game, full of challenge which I can achieve." The other said, "I like it with all the trophies you can get in many different ways. There's lots of ways to win."
And they also really like the cute creatures.
The artwork is fantastic and ideally placed for this kind of target audience. And yeah, occasionally we kind of talk them into playing a board game. But it's been very few occasions when they've said, almost week on week, "Can we play My Little Scythe?" So if you have children who are maybe, around the 10 mark, I would say, and you want them to get into board games, this is a fantastic, fantastic game. Obviously, for adults, it's going to have a limited appeal. Just play Scythe, unless you really adore cute characters. But for children and, for family gathering that isn't just Monopoly or party games, something of substance, get this. It really is fantastic.
Yeah, mine was a tough pick this week because I went to Essen. So, there was a lot to choose from. I had some great games with people. We've played Starship Captains, which I absolutely adore, and had a great time talking to the designer at Essen. You can see that in our channel if you're interested in that. But I know that we have more content coming up before Christmas, I would say, on Starship Captain. So I thought that I would talk about another game that really grabbed my attention and I'm really excited for, that I saw and managed to play some of whilst I was there, and that's Unconscious Mind from Fantasia Games. Now it's due to launch in November on Kickstarter, so I think a lot of people are probably watching it because it had a lot of interest at Essen, and it just seems so different, so interesting, and so much going on and options to do things, and the little details in it I really enjoyed. You're basically, the sort of premise of it is you're friends with Freud, and you sort of all hang out together and you sort of chat around working out how best to treat your patients. It's sort of the birth of that psychology time. So your cohorts are all gathering together and you're looking at what ideas are working and what aren't working with your clients, and you're obviously trying to do your best to cure your clients. As one of your action options, you put your little speech mark into the table, and it's sort of representing you taking part in that conversation with your cohorts. And now you can put more than one speech mark in, and sort of representing that you're sort of over talking everyone else and taking quite a large part in that conversation. But you can't put one part in one conversation and then go in again and then go in another in the same conversation. You have to choose a different conversation. So I thought that little nuances like that were really interesting. And on your player board, there's this lovely little inkwell that moves different steps depending on what action you might have taken within the conversations. And it sort of moves these different stages. And the inkwell is such a great part for a game. I mean, it just looks so good. You're moving that along and you're trying to get these little orbs in different areas in order to achieve the things that you want. You're looking at curing your patients and their sort of foreshadowings and their dreams that they've had. You're also going about town and seeing who's out there and seeing what you can do. Looking at publishing different books and what ones of those that you can achieve. And there's just so much going on, so much that you can do, and such an interesting theme. I feel like the artwork in this game really fits well with that theme and the idea that's going on. It's by Andrew Bosley and Vincent Dutray, which I think are well known within the sort of board game industry. And if you know some of their other games, I think you can sort of tell that influence within there. And it's a game that I'm really excited for. I can't wait to play it again. I know this one's all about the mind, but it definitely did get stuck in my mind.
Yeah, when you came back from Essen, that was the first game you were really excited about. I think you were excited before you went because you kind of made a beeline for it.
Yeah, because they also have Endless Winter, which is coming our way too, so I was super excited about that as well.
The just looking at the kind of footage I've seen of this, I really hope it's going to be on our shelves sometime soon. Although I'm a little bit disappointed you didn't choose the Big Cheesy Knights.
Ah.
Do you think you're good enough? Although perhaps it's because we haven't played it yet.
It is. I mean, I know that it was a birthday present, but I can't choose something that I have yet to play.
Okay, well, so next month.
Next month, maybe.
Game of the month.
Hey everybody, welcome back here to our segment for the best of the month for the month of October. Well, it's been a spooky-ish month. We played a decent amount of like spooky type games, and well, we're gonna highlight 2 of them for you today. All right, so my pick is going to be this tiny little 18 card escape room game called The Pumpkin Problem. We played this one just the other day, and it's in the Holiday Hijinks is the name of the series. So there's a lot of other holiday themed, like escape room puzzle type games in this series, and this was a really fun one. There's without too much spoilers, I'm gonna say that there's some candy that's been messed with while you're out trick or treating, and you kind of have to solve what's going on with that. These work really well because there's no app, but you do need like an internet connection to like get to a website to answer the questions. And they usually take about an hour. I think we ran a little bit over on the hour on this one.
Yeah.
But we scored with the highest score. This one ranks a 2 out of 3 difficulty, but I didn't think it was all that difficult. You have to use a few hints. But I would highly recommend playing one of these if you come across them. You can also get them as a print and play if you don't want to actually get this. But if you do get it, when you're done, you can just pass it off to someone else. And on Halloween, they can play it. So yeah, The Pumpkin Problem is my pick of the month.
And my best of the month is this game called Let's Summon Demons. It's like it's a card game. The cards are circles for some reason.
Yeah, circular.
They're pentagons.
Pentagrams.
Pentagrams.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the word.
But they're still circular. Yeah.
Yes. And so with those cards, basically it's like Machikoro, one of my favorite games, where basically you roll dice. Like depending on rolls, you get souls, which is money, and then you use those souls to get more money generating things. But how this works here is that actually what you have to do is you have to sacrifice like your money generating things, which are like
well,
like
it's kids.
Yes, kids.
It's neighborhood kids.
Kids and animals.
You're recruiting neighborhood kids and animals to your like club or whatever, right?
Yeah, and then you sacrifice them to summon demons, which will have powerful abilities. And after you get all 3 of your demons out and then have 10 souls, you instantly win.
Yeah.
It's a really fun game. I've never won the 2 times I played it.
No?
No, it was you.
Oh, I did, yeah.
And I think Corey.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So basically, yeah, you're recruiting kids to your club, and the kids are kind of all based on like they're like reference to things because there's like a Prince Adam from He-Man. And like, there's a Pippi Longstocking, I think, and like Reagan from The Exorcist. But yeah, they're kids, right? Yeah. So basically, it's demonic Machikoro.
Yeah,
but it's also
pretty
really
much.
simple and it's really silly, right?
But it also has the difference that you're actually getting rid of your like money generating things.
Right, because you have to sacrifice the kids in order to summon the demons, right?
And the kids are the things that actually get you the souls.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. All right, anything else about that one?
Nope.
There's I believe there's 2 others in this series based on this art, and 3 more coming. So honestly, I'd be curious to check out some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Because it's a really simple and like fun and silly game. So yeah. All right. Well, that was our picks for the best of the month, and thanks again for having us. And we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Some great unique sounding and looking games, some spooky sort of Halloween-y ones as well, as to be expected for October. What were you playing over Halloween or the whole month? Were there some spooky things in there? Let us know in the comments section below. Make sure you go and check out all of the creators involved. Their link will be in the description box, so you can go and share the Halloween-y spooky love and give them a like, subscribe and all that sort of jazz on their channel. And if you want to be a creator on future months, well, just join the Discord. The link will be in the description box. Send me a message, say hi, and of course you can be in this video in future months. Until then though, have a great month gaming, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.